3, I was divinely inspired to write this book, No Worries Mate. And it contains the de-worrying process that money back guarantees to eliminate all worry at its source. I know, right? Everything I needed to make it internationally successful was just handed to me on a silver plate. The perfect illustrator, fell in love with the book, and was halfway through illustrating it before we even thought about how I was going to pay him. The perfect editor was given to me. She was the editor for Joe Vitale from The Secret, who also fell in love with the book and showed me how to make it a #1 bestseller on Amazon. It's Joe Vitale, right? So I put all of my eggs into that basket and create a huge launch early in 2004. And 2 days before the launch, I'm sitting in a canvas swing at my mate's place, and the bolt holding the swing shears off and drops me onto a concrete ledge. I land on my tailbone, cracking my spine like a whip.
Holy moly.
C1 and 2 are out so far that they're impairing cognitive thought and vision. The MRIs reckoned I'd be out of commission for months. I was furious with God. Are you out of your mind? You go to all this trouble to have me write the book, the perfect, book through everything that it needs, and this happens 2 days before the launch? Clearly, I don't know how you want me to promote this book because that looked pretty damn good. So, I release it. I'm leaving it all up to you. You handle all the details. I'll just do whatever. Just know that, as you do, my daughter is going to be going to live with her dad at the end of summer. It's the beginning of summer now. I need to be on a fully launched book tour before then, or I'm going to go mad missing her. Be careful what you wish for. It never ever looks the way you think it will. And so it was. On the 12th of May, 2004, I left my dear little home in South Austin, and I kissed my little girl goodbye, and I sent her off to school, and I said, I'll be home to tuck you in tonight. And I went to Nuevo Laredo for the day to do the visa run, had a 10-year visitor's visa. And when I went to come back in this time, they said, you know what, no, you've been in and out once too often. So you can apply again for another visa in a year.
Oh my God.
I had only the clothes I walked across the border in. I knew no one in Mexico. I spoke no Spanish. And my 13-year-old daughter was waiting for me to come home. It seems that God had decided that the best way to promote No Worries Mate was to place me in this situation. Thank you for your compassion. And write a whole nother book about how I used the de-worrying process to survive. Nuevo Laredo. I'm a transformation coach, a life transformation coach, and one of the things I know is that nothing that happens to us matters anywhere near as much as how we choose to feel about what happens, because it's this choice that determines what happens next. And if I told you that I thought I had any kind of choice about how I was going to feel that day, I would be lying. All I could feel was pain so great, I couldn't believe that it hadn't somehow killed me. That whole night, every thought I had was, this is the worst thing that could possibly happen to me. I can't survive this. But I knew by the next morning that if I would take a really strong grip on those thoughts, that I would be right. I wouldn't survive in a wave elevator. So I did one of the processes in the book. When I have a thought that's really, really, really scaring me, in this case, this is the worst thing that could happen to me. I put it in the palm of my hand and then I turn it over and I let it fall away and I look to see what's the exact opposite of the thought. Because like 9 times out of 10, the exact opposite is bizarrely as valid, often more so, as the terrifying thought. Wasn't the case this time. Because the opposite to this is the worst that could happen to me was this is the best thing that could happen to me, and in order for this process to work, you have to feel like you've got at least a chance of it being true. I was a big red-headed white woman in a sundress in the most terrifying border town, more murders, more kidnappings than anywhere else. I was 365 days away and a glass wall from my community and a child and every single thing that was safe and familiar. So I looked around the thought, this is the best thing that could happen to me, until I found a thought that I could accept as equally true. And it was, this is a miracle I don't understand yet. And it was that thought that birthed the miracle updates, which were the emails that I sent to my beloved community in Austin to share with them how I was using these tools to survive all of the grief and the guilt and the pain and the fear. I experienced a lot of emotions in the next year, but worry wasn't one of them. And I can look back now in 2012 and honestly say, you know, it probably was the best thing that could have happened to me. But that's another story. The first 6 pages of the Miracle Update, first 6 chapters of the Miracle Update, which is now an audio book. I've recorded it as an audio book and I'm going to be publishing the paperback this year, are on my website, experiencejoy.com. So if you want a ripping good yarn, I'll read you the first chapters of that. And thank you for your time.